Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and today we're going to be looking at all of the Day 2 decks from Peoria Regionals. So Peoria, of course, just wrapped up this weekend, and we actually now have all the Day 2 lists available here on the Monday. There was 177 people in Day 2 of Peoria Regionals. I'm excited to see what people brought to the tables. I know there were some cool rogue decks that did make it Day 2 from what I've seen, and we'll kind of just go through each and every deck here. We're going to try to make sure this video isn't super long, but I am excited to take a look at it. I'm even going to be potentially doing a really creative and special video here with Peoria Regionals in the next coming days, hopefully, or maybe tomorrow. We'll have to see how long it takes me to film this, but get hyped for then. If y'all are, of course, new here to the second channel, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and leave a like in the video if you go on to enjoy. And let me know if you went to Peoria and how well you ended up placing in, what you ended up playing. Maybe I'm going to pass you here on today's video. So we'll start things off, of course, with the winner of the entire regionals, Raymond Long, who, of course, is Canadian. So this is yet another Canadian North American regional win in a row. Pretty crazy stuff. I mean, Raymond is one of the best players in Canada. He's a very good player. He's had multiple top 8s before, and he finally broke through and won a regional with actually a really different take on Kyogre that we haven't really seen do well, and that's the Zamazenta build. Now, the Zamazenta single prize build of Kyogre is something that doesn't really do as well in tournaments as the Dragonite Raikou build, but Raymond did pile this deck all the way to a first place finish, also playing at the Pidgeot. I really like the Pidgeot here because you don't really attack with it. It's just here so that you can use it with Forest Seal Stone, and then you can use Pidgeot's ability to shuffle it back in the deck. It's also really good in like the mirror match as like a spit innocently target. It's a really cool idea, and I really do think that Raymond is just a great Lost Box player. So congrats to Raymond for winning the tournament with Zamazenta Kyogre. Definitely a bit of a different take on Kyogre. Then, of course, we got the second place deck, which is good old Turbo Lost Box, the Lost Box mirror in the finals. Yeah, Turbo Lost Box, though, Kyogre. There's also 2 tournaments in a row now in North America that Kyogre's won. We actually have a Mew EX in top 4, which is something that not a lot of people would have seen coming because of Charizard, but this Mew deck tries to counter Charizard by using Grabber and Luxray. So it is Double Turbo Mew, and keep in mind, Spiritomb is not really popular right now, and that's really good for Double Turbo Mew, because Double Turbo Mew is really bad against Spiritomb, but with Spiritomb being, like, not played right now, it's actually really good for Mew, and then, of course, we do have the ability to knock out, or beat Charizard, not knock it out, but you can use Grabber here. Your opponent reveals their hand, you put a Pokemon you find there to the bottom of their deck. So basically what you do against Charizard with DT Mew, you go Judge Path, and then you Grabber and get rid of the Charizard EX in their hand. That's basically what you want to do with that. But there's also the Luxray V, which is really cool. It does have that attack Fang Snipe that does work with a double turbo energy. Well, it would only be doing 10 damage. The effect is really good. Your opponent reveals their hand, discard a trainer you find there. Effectively, Luxray allows you to get rid of rare candies, supporters, stadiums, any card that allows your opponent to play the game. Basically, Luxray tries to take away. And of course, when you make it so your opponent can't play the game with Mew, you a lot of the time just run them over because Mew just wins games by using Judge Path. Your opponent bricks, okay, Mew just kind of runs you over. It's the nature of the deck. And Rowan did get all the way to 3rd place, top 4 with the deck. So congrats again to Rowan. Would have been crazy to see Rowan win another regionals coming off of Hartford. We do have Flex Daddy, JW Creewall here in top 4 with the Miraidon deck. Miraidon was a pretty good meta call for this tournament just because of the popularity of Lugia, which surprisingly wasn't in the top 8. We all thought Lugia, I mean, even I said it. I'm like, Lugia's the best deck heading into this tournament, and it actually didn't do as well as we expected. But Miraidon just kind of farms Lugia because it just kind of is what it is. Turn 1 knocking your opponent's really good. Miraidon with Path, I think, is actually the optimal way to play it because it has a better chance of beating Charizard, which Miraidon would struggle against Charizard, but when you have the ability to, like, Judge Path them, you can sometimes just cheese out a win that way. We do see the new addition of that 1/51 Mew in JW's deck. I'm pretty sure Jesse Parker, who also got back-to-back top 8s, they're playing similar 60s, kind of similar. I mean, I know they're in like the same like group, but I guess their 60s are a bit different now. He's not playing the Mew. I actually like that. I don't even know if Mew's even worth it, to be honest. But Jesse's build here looks very straightforward. A little bit different than his build from Pittsburgh, but does have some changes, like just plain Path, no Drapion, no Beach Court. But yeah, I really like the 60 for Miraidon. That's probably, I think either one of these 60s are optimal right now. We do have a Lost Charizard deck, but not the EX. We actually see Radiant Charizard in top 8 here. So I've been a fan of Radiant Charizard Lost Box for a while. I think it's one of the more funner ways to play the Lost Zone engine because it's not like Turbo, right? It plays differently. It tries to get to Sableye really quickly, and this deck does play some cool cards like the new Ditto, which allows you to, I guess we can pull it out here and I can read it. Once your turn, this Pokemon's in the active spot, you search your deck for a basic and find there, except for Ditto, and then you discard this. So effectively, this can count as like a 5th Comfey if you start with it on your first turn. And then, of course, it does have the 3 Sableye. You're basically just trying to get to a really fast Lost Mine, and then you kind of clean up the game later on with like Radiant Charizard. Because Lost City is nowhere to be seen right now in the format. And Terrence did get top 8 with this list. And then we got a Gardy from Brent Tonneson here in top 8. Brent is from the Australia. So that's cool. But he did get top 8 here with Gardy. Like I said, there was going to be a Gardy in top 8. I actually predicted it to win the tournament, which it didn't, but it did get top 8. So Gardy is still a force. One interesting thing, this list is playing in that Mew EX, which is something that we didn't really see list use heading into Peoria. But who knows, maybe Brent kind of crafted the optimal Gardy 60. Not playing any research, going for 4 Iono and double Worker, and 2 Collapse for the Stadium. Interesting build there for sure. We do have Grant Shen rounding out the top 8. Once again, with Chen-Pao, back-to-back top 8s for Chen-Pao. Chen-Pao, Baxcalibur, Bidoof, kind of the optimal way to play it. The Canadian Chen-Pao deck, as it's called, getting top 8. Yeah, I like Chen-Pao. I mean, it was a good meta call, too, due to how popular Charizard was. It's also pretty good against Lugia. It also isn't bad against Miraidon. Basically, against Miraidon, if they're not playing the Zapdos, the Pogo Zapdos, you just don't put a 2-prizer down until you have to. That's basically how you play Chen-Pao. But yeah, Chen-Pao is really, really good. It's also got a good Gardy matchup. And yeah, it did end up losing to a Rowan in top 8. I think Grant had like one turn where he whiffed a KO on a Mew VMAX, which probably would have won in the game. So he did get a little lucky there, but it is what it is. And then, of course, outside of the top 8, we have another Miraidon. Miraidon was doing really well this weekend. This build does play Flying Pikachu and a Collab Stadium. Now, Flying Pikachu is definitely something interesting because you play the Flying Pikachu V basically as your Fear Tree pivot, also as a Forest Seal Stone target, so you can put a Bravery Charm on your Raikou or Raichu. But the Flying Pikachu does improve your Lugia matchup. It also improves your Chen-Pao matchup. I actually like the Flying Pikachu. I'm experimenting with it myself in my Miraidon list because I do think that the Flying Pikachu does give Miraidon a little bit of extra leverage in some of your other matchups. Like, it just slightly improves some of your matchups. It doesn't, like obviously Chen-Pao's fine. If to beat Chen-Pao, you basically just attack with Zapdos. So they're forced to attack Zapdos, or you just try to, cheese them with Path. And against Lugia, you can obviously donk him, but the Pikachu does improve some of those matchups slightly, which I do like. It's also just a nice bulky attacker. It can be good against Charizard, too, sometimes. We do have a Charizard here outside of top 8 here in top 16. It is the Arvin Zard build. This is the build that everybody was on heading this weekend. I actually played this to a league. Was it a league challenge? Yeah, it was a league challenge this past Friday at my locals. Unfortunately, I didn't do too well. I mean, I literally hit like bad matchups the first 3 rounds, but Arvin Zard's cool. I don't know if I personally would play True Regionals after playing the deck this weekend. I'm not the biggest, I'm not sold on it, but I do like the deck, and I think it's probably the best way still to play Charizard even after Peoria, which we'll see if Charizard continues to seek success. We do have, of course, another Lost Zone Turbo deck here in top 16 with that one of Ditto. And then, of course, we see yet more Charizard here from Drew Kennett, who, of course, is playing the Vengeful Punch. I think he's playing like the same 60 as a lot of other players. His list is slightly different. We do see more stadiums, like the Path and the Collapse. Path can be good for the Mirror. And then, of course, the Vengeful Punch is really good into Gardy and also in the Mirror. Vengeful Punch can help in the Mirror, too. Yeah, it's a really interesting list. I think this list might be better. I still think this deck needs to play a research for the record. One of the games I lost at my locals on Friday was because I needed like a research with a Lumineon. I maybe could have won. So I still like research in this deck. This is the issue with the Arvinzard build. Your hands are always super tiny. I don't know. I just prefer research in the deck. I mean, 1 research, 2 Iono, or maybe 3 Iono, 1 research if you can fit it. More Miraidon in top 16. Again, it was a really good meta call for the tournament, and it ended up doing really, really well. We'll see where Miraidon is going forward, of course. We got yet another Charizard in top 16, another Arvinzard build. I guess to note, this does play that Pidgeot too instead of the Entei. Pidgeot is a lot better than Entei. That's what I played in my list because you can use Pidgeot's ability to put it back in the deck. So you can Forest Seal Stone, use it like you would use Entei with Forest, and then you put it back into the deck. And then effectively you just try to put a bunch of Charizards in play and be like, all I have in play is like big, bulky Pokemon. So that's kind of the idea behind the Pidgeot. I do like it a lot. It can also be good against Lost Boxes like a spit target because they can cram it and then you just put it back in the deck. We do see more Gardy in top 16. Once again, Gardy was another good meta call for the tournament too. I think it was a good meta call. We got around our top 16, another Mew list, and it is the Grabber Mew. This one is not playing the Luxray, but it is playing the Grabbers, which again was really cool into Charizard. Again, Judge Path Grabber can do some damage. It's not bad against other decks, like obviously it could be against Lugia to take away Pumpkaboo, take away Lumineon, take away Archeops, stuff like that. Not just Charizard, but it is especially good against Charizard. And then outside of top 16, we got yet another Mew not playing Grabbers. So trying to kind of just high roll the Charizard matchup. It does play that Justified Gloves, which is it justified to play Justified Gloves? Because you still have to go through 2 Charizards, which I don't know if you can do that. I mean, you can maybe KO a Pidgeot, but hey, man, did almost get top 16. And then we got some Lugias finally to take a look at. We got the colorless Lugia deck here with the Luxray. I'm not a fan of Luxray and Lugia in the colorless Lugia build because a lot of the time I found that it was like not very good. It is good in the mirror and against Charizard because you can kill their Pidgeot with it. But I'm not sold on it. But hey, maybe it's the way to play it as it was in the highest placing Lugia deck. And it was even in the second highest placing colorless Lugia deck here. None of these lists are playing the Radianzard, which is another card I'm a big fan of in Lugia. But hey, the Luxray seemed to work pretty well. And then we got more Kyogre Turbo Lost Box. Basically, very similar to Andrew Estrada's winning list from Pittsburgh, it looks like. We got another Chen-Pao here, piloted by Rahul. Another similar 60 to Grant, except for it is playing the Kyogre in the deck. So the Kyogre is something that we saw early on in Chen-Pao, but never really took off. It does have that attack where you can put 3 energy from this Pokemon back in your hand. You can do 180 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So really good way to kind of deal with Lumineons against Lugia. It can also be good if your opponent doesn't play Manaphy down. It can catch people off guard. Nobody really expects a Kyogre. It can be good against like Miraidon, I guess. I don't know. It's a cool attacker. I'm not a fan of it because it's a really bad starter Pokemon. But it is a cool card when you get to utilize it. We got Billy here, my boy Billy. He is a local of mine, a good friend of mine here, piloting Single Strike Lugia with that one of Cobalion. So congrats to Billy for doing pretty well in Peoria with the 60. I think he was the highest placing local, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it is Single Strike with the Cobalion. Cobalion obviously letting you do enough damage with Tyranitar to one-shot a Charizard EX with 4 Single Strike energy on. So yeah, pretty cool 60. If you want to get a good 60 for Single Strike going forward, I would definitely say look at Billy's list here because I think Billy's got the optimal 60. We got another Miraidon here. Once again, Miraidon just dominating Peoria because it's a good deck and it was good because of the amount of Lugia. And Lugia didn't perform as well potentially because of all the Miraidon. We got more Gardy. A deck that I think might perform better next tournament could be Gardy because if people start playing Miraidon, Gardy has a great Miraidon matchup, right? So we'll have to see it going forward where that entails. We got yet another Chen-Pao here, the Canadian Chen-Pao deck with the Pokestops. Yeah, pretty similar to like Lucas's and Grant's 60. More Lugia here in top 32. Now this one does play the Radianzard. Now the Radianzard helps a little bit against like Miraidon. It helps against Chen-Pao too. It's just a really good one prize attacker. I'm still not sold on Luxray, but hey, Luxray has been in what 3 of the decks now, so maybe Luxray is the technology in colorless Lugia. Who knows? What else do we got here? We got, here we go. We got Arcturus. So this is a deck that nobody really would have thought about. Like, I thought about it, but I don't think it was, like, a great call for the tourney. Duraludon is cool, but it's not great against, like, Charizard and Chen-Pao. What it is good against is beating Lugia V-Star. Like, quite literally, Lugia does not have a way to touch Duraludon right now. I mean, they're not playing the Urshifu. Colorless doesn't do anything. Like, they can't touch it unless they can KO it before it evolves, right? And this is a pretty straightforward Arcdura. It's like Arcdura Bibarel Scovid engine. It does play heavy path, so it is basically just a Judge Path deck with the inclusion of Duraludon. It's a cool 60. There's no other, like, attackers, no grass attackers, no Umbreon, no Pikachu, nothing like that. Just straightforward Duraludon, which is cool. We do see more Mew here, double Turbo Mew without the Grabbers. Got a Gardy here in 29th place with the Emergency Jelly in Town Store. Interesting technology. The Town Store is kind of cool for Forest Seal Stone. The Jelly's interesting. I guess it helps a lot against Lost Box when you attack with Shining Arcana Gardevoir. It's an interesting concept. I know Jelly was another card a lot of Guardians played early on. We got the first Lost Tina, which is a deck I thought was more well-positioned into Peoria. Like, with the amount of Charizard there was, and even Miraidon, which I actually don't think is a bad matchup for Tina either. I'm surprised that Tina didn't do as well, which we'll have to see going forward. This could be good for the Arc Pile believers, just saying. Here's our first Fusion Mew. It is Fusion Mew with the Meloetta and the Ice Cube. which Fusion Mew is fine. Like, it's not bad. Against Charizard, it's okay because you do have some one-price attackers that can take out Charizards. You can snipe off the Charmanders with Ice Cube. There are some cool things you can still do with the deck. We got more Chen-Pao, Baxcalibur. Now, this one was a little different. It is similar to the Lucas 60, but it is still playing the Rotom, which is an interesting new inclusion, and Arven. So Rotom lets you just draw 3 cards, your turn ends. Essentially just trying to build up a hand so you can pull off these crazy combos with your Chen-Pao. And then Arven works with Force Seal Stone. The only problem with Rotom is it's like a 2-prize liability. One of the cool things Chen-Pao can do is it can make it so that its board doesn't have any 2-prizers in place. So having the Rotom makes it so you have a 2-prizer in place. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but it does give you a bit more consistency, I guess, and lets you pull off combos a little bit easier, especially going first, right? So maybe it is good. Got another Charizard here to look at. It is another interesting Arvenzard build, but it is playing a couple of extra techs like Delphox V, something that we haven't really seen in Charizard yet. Radiant Serena, which is good against Lost Box, playing the Justified Gloves for the Mirror Match, which I think is decent. It's either that or Vengeful Punch, right? Vengeful Punch is easier to play around because they also have like Lost Vacuum for the Mirror. So yeah, interesting at 60. Also playing Raihan, another interesting card to see in Arvenzard. I think Arvenzard definitely has some ways to kind of like go for like some interesting techs. Another Gardy here, another pretty similar list to like what Tort had, it looks like. Yeah. All right, let's see. We got another Colorless Lugia here. This one playing Luxray once again, the Luxray technology in full force. 4 boss is pretty insane too. Yeah, we got more Double Turbo Mew playing at the Grabbers once again. Only 2 Grabbers. So we've only seen the one Luxray so far, and it was in the highest placing DT Mew list. All right, we got another deck here to look at. We got Callie a Canadian, playing the Pelkia deck. So that's cool. Pelkia is still, like I said, it's kind of the underdog of the format. Like, it's a very, like, decent, solid archetype. My issue is its Charizard matchup is a little iffy, but this build looks decent. It's got the Cross Switchers, the Chen-Pao. It's got the Articuno, Double Cologne. Yeah, I like it. The Wama Bibarel is fine, too. Yeah, pretty nice 60. I think Pelkia is, like, again, it's a nice, solid deck. We do have another Charizard here, Arvenzard here to look at with the Pidgeot, the Vengeful Punch, similar to what Drew had. It looks like another Lugia here to look at with the Luxray once again. Looks like Luxray is just kind of the norm. I don't know. I'm still not sold on it, but hey, it's working for all the Lugias that did well, so maybe it is good. I don't know. We got another Arvenzard here to look at. So we've only been looking at Arvenzard so far. I think there was a couple cool Charizard decks that got day 2 that weren't using they're Arvenzard decks, but they're like a different take, and hopefully we get to see them soon. We do see a really cool Mew VMAX Double Turbo deck here again with a Helix Fossil. So the Helix Fossil is kind of cool. So I think what this card does, it's a good Crabomatic bait card, but it also allows you to I think it's like a Psychic Leap target or something. I'm not like 100% sold on what it's here for, but it's an interesting card to see nonetheless. And all right, here's where the things got cool. We see Arceus Vulpix. Now, this is an interesting meta call. So Vulpix obviously good into Charizard and Gardevoir. Duraludon obviously good into Lugia. Those were 3 pretty popular decks this weekend, and it looks like this Arceus did do pretty well. I'm pretty sure the person piloting it, Jeremy Wang, who is a Canadian, who kind of worked on this list with Cyrus Davis, and she also played this deck. Jeremy was like almost top seed heading into day 2, I think. Or maybe, was he top? He was like up there. He was heading into day 2. He was like almost top seed, or he might have been top seed. I can't remember exactly, but this is an interesting list. It is cool to see the Vulpix still being used. Another card people preach right now in the meta is Vulpix and how good it is. Is it a one and done thing? I don't know. This deck didn't like overperform, which I think is good for the deck, right? This deck didn't overperform in this tournament, which might be good. Might be going into like more tournaments this month. This is still a good meta call, I think, especially with Gardy still being popular. Obviously, Lugia, Charizard, we'll see. Definitely a really cool 60. It is cool to see Vulpix do well, because I know a lot of people are big fans of Vulpix right now. Got more Turbo Lost Zone box here. Another Turbo Lost Zone box by Nicholas Moffat with the Snorlax and the Mew. The Mew and Turbo Lost box is definitely really strong. A lot of cool things you can do with it. Yeah, a lot of cool things you can do with it. Got another Charizard here to look at. More Arvenzard. I know there's going to be some cool Charizards coming up soon. Like, I remember seeing a few of them. There's one on stream, so I think it got day 2 anyways. Anyways, more Turbo Lost Zone box here once again with the Mew. Yeah, a lot of the same with Turbo Lost Zone box. We do see Lost Tina here doing well. Yeah, Lost Tina didn't have the greatest performance, did it? Yeah, I mean, we see a couple of them back-to-back, but there's like only 3 so far. A deck that like everyone thought was one of the BDIFs in the tournament. We'll have to see where it goes going into the next regionals. more Miraidon with the Zapdos. Something that I don't think a lot of people really would have thought of was Zapdos, because I think a lot of people kind of wrote it off after people discovered that, the Zapdos isn't that great in the deck, but, hey, man, it did get day 2. And it is something that can catch people off guard, right? So it's something that can catch people off guard. And I think that's maybe the big thing with playing it. You have more Chen-Pao here. Looks like the Canadian Chen-Pao with the Mew, some celebrations in the deck. And then we got more Lost Zone Tina, doing pretty good. Yeah, Lost Tina, I think it's still fine. I mean, it's one of those decks that's probably just safe. We got Tord here with the Gardy. Yeah, it looks like it's similar to his World 60. He plays like a worker, though, in a research, but yeah. Seeing Tord here. Tord did win the last Peoria Regionals from last year, so he almost, it could have been cool if he got back-to-back Peoria Regional wins. More Arven Zard doing well. See, the research I like. I like the research in the Arven Zard. I think it's pretty clean. Just because sometimes your hand is just so tiny and you can't draw anything. We got more DT Mew, but not playing any grabbers or anything, so no technology to stop Zard. And speaking of Charizard, we got a couple Charizards back-to-back. Once again, just the Arven Zard build. We haven't seen any other Charizard builds yet, so we'll have to see. We got Zach here, Zach Lesage, playing the Arven Zard. Once again, very similar to Drew 60 here that we saw earlier with the Ventral Punch. A couple of Lost Tinas to look at again. Yeah, Lost Tina didn't really do much this tournament. I don't think it really gained any cool tech cards. It's whether or not you want to play Shaman or not, right? In your Lost Tina 60. More Miraidon here with the Mew from 151. Not playing that Zapdos EX, though, but is playing the Poco Zapdos. And then we got another Giratina. Looks like another, very standard Tina. Playing a Clara. That's something you don't usually see. But here we go. Finally, a different take on Charizard. We got the Arceus Charizard deck. I guess the original way to play it that everyone liked. I think this deck still is, has the potential. It's not the worst way to play Charizard. I'm not saying Arceus is terrible, but it's definitely a build that I think a lot of people have kind of been, falling off of now that Arven Zard is more popular, but Arceus's still not bad. If I were to play it, I would still probably prefer maybe playing a Charon's Care or something in the deck to help out a little bit, but it's definitely a pretty decent archetype still, and it did get day 2, so I haven't seen any other Charizards did well. We see more Canadian Chen-Pao with the Kyogre from Crown Zenith in the deck. More Charizard here. Looks like another Arven Zard with Sinestro. That's supposed to be that's supposed to be Celebration's Mew, or no, not Celebration Mew. That's supposed to be Mew EX for the record. I'm pretty sure there's just an error on Limos right now. That's supposed to be Mew EX. If you're wondering what that is, it's supposed to be Mew EX. It's not actually Sinestro. Yeah, that's not supposed to act. Yeah, it's supposed to be Sinestro if anyone's wondering. Just in case. Yeah, that's pretty funny, though. We do see another Gardy here, piloted by Piper, with the, another solid Gardy 60. Gardy was a decent call for this tournament, I think. See Colors, Single Strike Lugia. Single Strike Lugia, okay, Single Strike Lugia, yeah. With the Dunsparce and the Stonejourner. No Evil, it is playing Yveltal. It's got Mew, though. Yeah, no Cobalion, though, right? No Cobalion, so definitely a bit more of a shakier Zard matchup. And then we got some more Turbo Lost Box here with the Mew and the Snorlax, the usual schmusual stuff you'll see. We got another Lugia deck here, Colorless Lugia, with the Luxray once again. So Luxray really popular in Colorless Lugia. I guess I was wrong, because again, I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, it's popular enough. We got my friend Sashi here, another local and friend of mine here on the Miraidon. He was 801 heading into day 2. He was up there heading into day 2. So it's unfortunate to see him not go as far this tournament heading into day 2, but it is cool to see him pilot the Miraidon deck pretty well. I know he's one of the bigger Miraidon players in my area. He won a league challenge at my locals playing Belly Bolt before 151 came out, because Belly Bolt was really good, because Miraidon is extremely popular in the Toronto area, so he was playing Belly Bolt and won a league challenge with it, which is hilarious. Yeah, definitely a cool Miraidon player there for sure. Yeah, shout out to Sashi. And then we got Single Strike Lugia, again, without the Cobalion, so kind of being a bit more riskier. Single Strike can still beat Charizard without Cobalion, but obviously it's a lot harder. We see more Arven Zard again, similar 60 to what we've been seeing from Zach and Drew. Got some Chen-Pao here with Pellia and Mew EX. Yes, that's supposed to be Mew. I'm pretty sure that's the new Alt-Art Mew EX promo that came out. And I think that's what that card is supposed to be. It's Mew. Obviously, no one's playing a Sinestro that doesn't do anything. But it is Pellia with Chen-Pao. So not playing the Canadian build, opting to play the Pellia in the deck for the extra attacker, having Star Portal, having the Mew EX in Chen-Pao is also kind of cool. We do see the Turbo build with the Shaman. Shaman definitely wasn't bad this weekend. Considering how much Charizard there was, it definitely wasn't a bad idea to play Shaman in the deck, for sure. Got another Charizard Arceus deck here. Once again, Charizard Arceus, a deck that I think a lot of people are kind of, just not really using as much anymore. It does play Pokestop and Cross Switcher, which is definitely interesting. Cross Switcher, for sure, can be a really powerful card, so it's cool to see that. I guess you can use Starbirth and Pidgeot to easily grab, those pieces to pull that play off a little bit easier. which I guess makes sense. More Miraidon here to look at. It's playing the Tomb in the deck, predicting Mew and Lugia, a little bit harder. We got more Arven Zard here with the Entei. There are going to be, I swear there's going to be a cool Charizard. I keep saying there is, but I know there is one coming up. More Lost Tina to look at with Shaman and Snorlax. A little bit more teched out. Not playing Iono, playing Roxanne, but it's playing that Shaman to just help a little bit more against Charizard. Even though Giratina is very favored against Charizard, the Shaman makes it almost not losable, but very hard to like lose when you have like Shaman on top of Giratina in that matchup. We got more Arczard here. Yeah, once again, I think Arczard is good. It does play the Charon's Care. I really like Charon's Care and Arczard. Playing the Temple, the Artisan, yeah. Pretty clean Arczard 60 here for sure. I want to see where Arczard continues to go heading into the next couple of regionals. We got more Turbo Lost Zone here. And then we got another Miraidon to look at here with Mew EX, the Alt-Art promo Mew, in the deck there. We got more Lost Box with Mew EX. Again, Mew EX. It's don't worry. No one's playing Sinesti. The card ain't that good. We didn't discover some new, broken, busted Sinesti card. Another Miraidon here with the Mew, and yeah, it looks decent. Playing Justified Gloves, interesting to help against Charizard, because that's one less energy you need with Raichu, because you can do 300 with the gloves on to do 330. We got more Double Turbo Mew piloted by Adam here, another Canadian playing the Grabber Luxray, pretty similar to what Rowan was playing. A little bit of a different supporter count, playing Judge and Roxanne over Iono. But more disruption makes sense when you're playing like more of like a control-y build. We got another Gardy here. Another Gardy doing pretty well. And then we got some Charizard EX with Arven once again doing well. A lot of Charizard Arven getting day 2 here. No surprise. We got Rapid Strikes. First Rapid Strike we've seen. Surprised to see Rapid Strike not do as well considering how much Lost Box there was. But I guess just not enough good players were piloting the deck to enough. But I think it's still a decent archetype. It's still a very strong deck. And now that Lost Box, I mean, there was what, like 3, 4 Lost Box? I can't remember. There was like 3. No, yeah, there's like 4, 3 Lost Zone in top 8. Hey, Rapid Strike could get a lot more popular with Lost Box doing well. People are going to start playing the Kyogre and stuff. Hey, play some Rapid Strike. More Arven Zard here, looks like. Yeah, we're just going to try to skim through some of these decks now. We're getting kind of close to the end, but we got more Canadian Chen-Pao playing to that one of Mew EX in the deck as the tech card of choice. We got another Miraidon here, doing well. Then we got Gardy with, Gardy with Sky Seal Stone. I like that. Sky Seal Stone helps a little bit against Lugia. Especially Colorless Lugia, because Colorless Lugia can throw like Snorlax and stuff at you and Drapion. Like the price trade is a lot more favorable for Lugia, for Colorless Lugia anyways, than it is for Single Strike. And having access to Sky Seal Stone does make that matchup a lot more winnable. So I kind of like that. That's definitely a decent inclusion. More Arczard here, another solid list. We haven't seen any Lost Zone Charizard EX or the Gallade Zard deck, which is interesting. Colorless Lugia with the Luxray once again, and the Radiant Charizard. And then we got another really cool Arc Vulpix deck. So that's 2 Vulpix decks in day 2. Just saying, Vulpix not doing as well this tourney, but still kind of making a performance well. Braden, who was the player we're looking at here, I'm pretty sure he also was doing really good in day 1. I think he was also close to the top seed heading into day 2. So I'm just saying, Vulpix might actually be something that is a sleeper deck heading into the rest of the season, heading into the next big Paradox Rift tournament, right? So who knows? Vulpix flopping, or not, I guess not flopping, but not doing as well in day 2 than it did in day 1 could be a signal for, hey, maybe there's something to Vulpix heading into the next tournament. Cool 60, though. It is a Pidgeot with Vulpix, which is really cool to see. So I always like to see that. We got another Chen-Pao here, the Canadian Chen-Pao deck. More Miraidon with the Zapdos. And I think that's kind of cool. I mean, honestly, Miraidon Zapdos could be good right now because nobody really expects it. It's like no one's going to bench the Manaphy and they get Zapdos for 2 prizes. Best of 1, that could be kind of dirty. We got more Chen-Pao. Really interesting. Is playing Rodom, but also Cynthia's Ambition. Not a bad supporter. It can draw you a huge hand, which obviously can make it very easy to pull off a knockout. The problem is not having Iono in the deck, I guess. There's 2 Arvens, but the Rodom's an interesting inclusion into Chen-Pao for sure. Yeah, we got more Fusion Mew doing pretty well here with the Meloetta. Playing in the Silene and the Iono and stuff. More Rapid Strike. Again, Rapid Strike not doing as well this turn. He's kind of surprising, but I think we'll see a bit more of an influx of Rapid Strike heading into the next couple of regionals because of Lost Box winning so much. And Lost Box dominating this tournament definitely is a big sign for Rapid Strike going into the next couple of tournaments, 100%. Then we got more Fusion Mew with the Deoxys. Switching Cups. Spicy. Spicy list. Deoxys definitely is not bad in Mew. I know there's a few people that really like that. We got more Charizard with Arven. The Arven Zard deck, as it's called. And then we got more Turbo Lost Box with Kyogre. Yeah, Lost Box Kyogre. And then we got another interesting Arc pile here. Another Arc Vulpix deck. That's 3 now. 3 Arc Vulpix decks in day 2. Yeah, Arc Vulpix Pika. Not a bad 60. Pikachu helps a lot against Lugia and Chen-Pao, and then Vulpix just good against Charizard and Gardevoir. So you're kind of countering those decks. You have the Drapion to also counter the Mew deck a little bit. So really cool 60. I'm a fan of that deck. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of Arc piles. We got more Gardy here doing pretty well. And then we got another Charizard here, piloted by Gabe Shumway. Another Arvinzard. Then we got Miraidon here, doing well. Just trying to see if there's anything spicy here. But I haven't seen too much. Do you see Grant Manley with Gardevoir too? I think they were all on Gardy. Grant's whole group was on Gardy. Yeah. Got Sawyer here playing in the Kyogre deck. Yeah, Kyogre, again, doing pretty good this turn. Obviously, it won the tournament, though it was a different take on Kyogre, obviously. Another Charizard deck here with the Arvin. I swear there was some cool... I don't know if they got day 2 or not. I guess we'll see. I know there's like the Arvinzard with Sylveon VMAX. I don't know if it got day 2. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm going crazy. But I swear there was one in day 2. I swear I saw it on Twitter. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I hope it got day 2. That'd be really cool. Got my friend Jackson Ford here getting day 2 with the Gardy. Shout out to Jackson. We got more Turbo Lost Zone box with Kyogre. Another Miraidon deck here. We can quickly look at that. Yeah, just more Miraidon. Miraidon's pretty good. You know, it's a pretty good deck. Got Caleb Gettimer getting day 2 with the Gardy again. Same 60 it looks like as Grant. What else do we got here? All right, we got more Mew. Not Grabber Mew, double Turbo Mew, but without the Grabbers. And then we got another Mew. Is this one going to play the Grabbers? It does play the Grabbers. There they are, the Grabbers. The technology for Charizard. I mean, Mew's still a good deck in my opinion. And, I mean, with Kyogre winning, it's a little bit more shakier, obviously, but still pretty cool. Got another Colorless Lugia here doing pretty good. With the Luxray, playing the Ditto, actually. Obviously, Ditto can kind of act as another Lugia, which is why this deck only plays 3 Lugia as opposed to 4. It's also not a 2-prize liability in some weird scenarios. Interesting. We actually see another... Pelkia Gardy. I like it. Actually, wait a minute. So I think it is. Yo, Zach Zamora, yo. I played against this person in Milwaukee. Super cool opponent. Also sold me a Fuller Boss's Order in NEIC. So shout out to Zach for getting day 2 again with the Gardy Pelkia deck. A really creative deck. I'm a huge fan of Gardy Pelkia. It's a really fun deck, and just played that Kyogre in the deck too. And the Chen-Pao. Really cool stuff. Yeah. Shout out Zach. That's awesome. We got another Zach here, Zach Cohen, with the Gardy. Once again, doing pretty good. And then we got... another Charizard here with... not the technology. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Sylveon Charizard didn't get day 2. I swear I saw it on Twitter. Maybe I'm wrong. A lot of Arvinzards. If you're somebody who wants to play Arvinzard heading into maybe Sacramento or Elite Cup or Challenge, definitely look at some of the Arvinzards here that got day 2 in Peoria. Give you some ideas of what to play. More Lost Tina once again. Lost Tina kind of flopping is interesting. Well, I didn't flop, but it didn't do as well as we thought it would, right? Another Chen-Pao Baxcalibur deck with Palkia and Mew in the deck. So a little bit different, not the Canadian build. Back-to-back Chen-Pao. Ooh, Vulpix V-Star. Is that, what, 5 Vulpix V-Star decks now in day 2? Woo-hoo. Vulpix V-Star, baby. Let's get it. I just like to see it. I'm a fan. Yeah, got Gardy. Gardy again. And more Gardy. Let's see here. Another Arc Charizard deck here with Alakazam and Avery. Interesting technology. Alakazam's another card I actually kind of like in Charizard because when you're not too shy and stuff, you can like move 20 to another attacker, and that could set you up for a one-shot later on in the game. It kind of makes your opponent play a little bit differently, I guess, because that damage can be used to one-shot. We got a Goodra in day 2. Actually, Goodra did win in the Seniors Division in Peoria, so that's really cool. So it is cool to see Goodra do well. It's a deck that's kind of been bubbling under the radar right now. It did win in Seniors once again, so it is a deck that actually could be legit. Even though it didn't, do as well in Peoria, winning in Seniors is still a big deal. So it is a cool deck for sure. We got Charizard here once again with Delphox and Entei. So Delphox, maybe it's only technology, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're going to see some... No Sylveon there. Just more, never mind. More Enteis and stuff. Got more Gardy. Let's see here. Got another Lugia here. Single Strike Lugia with the Urshifu VMAX. Urshifu does help a little bit against Charizard. It depends because theoretically, Urshifu can take 2 knockouts against Charizard before it dies, assuming they don't hit your Urshifu first, which is interesting. What else we got here? We got more Chen-Pao with Arceus V-Star. Wait, is that Jared Grimes? It is Jared Grimes. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, it is Jared Grimes. All right, we got the Charizard here No Sylveon. I swear, okay, maybe Sylveon didn't get day 2, because I know it was on stream, but I swear I saw it on Twitter I got day 2. More Rapid Strike. Again, Rapid Strike not doing as well as interesting. Again, I expect a bit of a rebound because of how popular Lost Box is right now, though. Might not have done well this tournament, but I think it's still a good play, maybe for, like, Sacramento. We got Gardy. This is playing the Mew EX in the deck. More Miraidon here. Magnezone V-Star. Interesting. I guess it does help against Charizard a little bit if they don't evolve. You can, like, Electro Star the two of them. 2 Charmanders, KO the Manaphy before it evolves. Interesting for sure. Got Ryan Sablehouse with the Chen-Pao Canadian deck. The Canadian Chen-Pao deck. I missed the words up. We got some Giratina Lost Zone here. Full Face Guard's interesting. I guess that does help a little bit against, like, Mir and Charizard. Huh. I guess actually it helps against... Does it help against anything else? I'd say, like... it helps against Mew. Right. That actually prevents Mew from one-shotting you in the mirror. That's actually smart. We got some Grabber Mew doing pretty well. Kind of cool to see that. We'll see how Grabber Mew goes going forward. Spiritomb might have to start going back in people's decks. Yeah, I got some Canadian Chen-Pao. More Lugia, colorless Lugia here with the Luxray. So, I mean, hey, I'm wrong on Luxray, it looks like. More Kyogre Lost Box. And then another Rapid Strike deck doing pretty good. Once again, Rapid Strike, just keep in the back of your head just because of how good Lost Box did this tournament. Seems like it could be a good play going forward. We got a couple Gardys here to quickly skim through. Another Arc Dura deck here. Right below. Yeah, there's Arc Dura below it. Hey, look at that Arc Dura Vulpix. Ooh, spicy. Playing Erica's Invitation. That's cool. But yeah, Arc Dura Vulpix. Spicy. I love it. Vulpix, I'm a fan. It's cool to see that. Yeah, for sure. The only thing I don't know about Arc Dura, though, is like, how does it beat Miraidon? That's one of the things I don't know, but got more Gardy with Mew. And then more Lost Zone box. There's a lot of decks to look at here. Jeez. Another Canadian Chen-Pao. Andrew Estrada getting day 2 with the Chen-Pao deck. And then we got Single Strike Lugia with that Urshifu VMAX in the deck, too. And then we got some Miraidon. And once again, well, yeah, we'll quickly skim through some of these decks here real quick. Yeah, because we've kind of just seen most of everything by now, I would say. Yeah, more colorless Lugia. Got Gardy. Yeah, just seeing if there's anything else spicy. Oh, there is that Lost Zone Charizard EX? No. Oh, it is. There we go. So there was a Lost Zone Charizard in day 2. A deck that a lot of people are really kind of keen on, but not doing as well this tournament. This 60 does have 3 Raihan, 2 Roxanne, a little bit heavier on the supporters, but you kind of need to play more supporters when you're kind of lacking like the Pidgeot and the Arceus draw engine, right? It makes sense. We see Rapid Strike again, and then another Charizard deck, and it is Charizard Galade. So there was all the variants of Charizard doing well. This one does play that Luxray. Not bad against Lugia, I mean. Sorry, not Mew, Lugia. Yeah, Lugia, obviously, pretty good to have with Luxrays. That's cool, so I like that. Because you do play the reversals already in the Luxray, or the Charizard Galade decks, and you have the Luxray in the deck, too, to help out. So that's pretty sick to see. I kind of like that, too. We see more Lost Zone. Ooh, Kyogre. It's another Kyogre Zam deck. A little bit different than Raymond's list, though. Playing double Zam and a Drapion. Another Charizard deck here to look at. It was Arvinzard. Yeah. Let's see. More Gardys. I'll just skip past the Gardys. We've seen most of the Gardy list by now, I would say. Pretty much all the same. Or, like, similar 60s, right? Kind of just a couple cards difference, probably. What else do we got here? Arvinzard. I think I just looked at that. Got another Lost Zone Charizard. It looks like it's another Lost Zone Charizard EX. So there was a couple in day 2. Didn't do as well as we all thought it would have, but there was a little bit of a presence in day 2 regardless. Another colorless Lugia here, doing pretty good. Charizard Arceus doing well. Again, I think this is still kind of a sleeper deck, and I do like the Charon's Care within the deck too for the Arceus. Because you get the Arceus on the board, right? You just kind of leave it with Pidgeot and Charizard. Another Miraidon here with the Zapdos. A lot of technology. Zapdoses, a lot of Zapdoses, actually. Not playing any Pathos, just playing the one Stadium in the deck. And then we got one last Charizard here. Okay, looks like there was no Sylveon Charizard day 2. I thought there was. I swore I saw it on Twitter, man. Maybe I was wrong. And then I guess we got another Lost Zone deck here. Yeah, Turbo Lost Box in. The final deck in day 2 was that Lost Tina deck. And there you have it. That is the entirety of a day 2 of Peoria Regionals. Cool stuff. A lot of Vulpix. Kind of kind of on the underdog deck. Could be a good play going forward. I don't know. Maybe I'll look into it for Toronto. I'm a big fan of Arc Piles, and if Arc Piles can be good right now, I will be very happy. We just need Giratina to go away for a little bit. And even Chen-Pao and Miraidon aren't the best matchups. But hey, man, who knows? Maybe there's a strategy of going in there. But there you go. That is Peoria's entire day 2. Let me know your favorite deck that we looked at in today's video. What do you think of some of the 60s here? And let me know if you yourself, maybe you made day 2, whatever. Let me know what you played, and let me know what you played at Peoria if you were there, even if you didn't make day 2. It's all about the experience and the fun and all that good stuff. And I will see you on another video here on the second channel. Bye-bye.